So that screeching sound you heard was coming from my 2022 Chevy Suburban, from my rear brake pads. So on my information page, when I scroll down through everything and I get to my brake pad life, it shows my rear is at 68%. Even though it says it's got 68% life left, I would say you got to change the brake pads anyway when they start squealing like that. I wasn't even pushing on the brakes and you could hear it. That's usually the squealer tab on a brake pad that is starting to wear down to the point that you need to change it. A squealer tab is just basically what it says, a tab that's on the brake pad that rubs against the rotor. Use the jack that comes with the vehicle because my floor jack doesn't go up high enough. And the jack is back here behind this panel right there, and the rest of the accessories for it are back there. And if you need to know how to get that all in and out, you can watch my video on how to change a spare tire for this vehicle. The jack that comes with the vehicle has a couple of wheel chocks with it, and you want to put those on the front and the back of the tire. I'm going to tell you how I do it, and then I'm going to do it. In order to do it, put on your brake, hold in your parking brake, start your car, and then keep it held in, and it'll set the brake, it'll set the parking brake, and then you'll see a yellow P flashing next to it. And then at that moment, you release your brake, you release the parking brake button, and then push it again and release, and then the parking brake should release, but that yellow P should still be flashing there. So that will show that you're in brake service mode. All right, let's go ahead and try it. So brake, hold this in, start it. All right, so I'm gonna go through all of its stuff. See the park showing up there, and then next to it, it'll blink a yellow P. All right, it's blinking. Look over your brake, look over your parking brake, press it. So it releases the parking brake now, but it stays in brake service mode there. So it continues to flash that P, and that's what you want. That shows you're in brake service mode. We did it. Go ahead and pop the hood and remove the cap to the brake fluid. Go ahead and pop your hood. It's a good practice to keep the hood open when you're working on your vehicle because it will keep it from going into remote start if somebody accidentally pushes a button on the remote to start it. So here's the cap for the brake fluid. Go ahead and take that off and leave it off while we're servicing the brake pads. So I'm going to start on the driver's side rear tire. The driver's side tires, the front and back, are both going to have the brake pad wear sensor. The passenger side brake pads will not have the brake pad wear sensor. Since I'm doing the driver's side rear tire first, I'm going to chalk the passenger side front tire. It's already up against the concrete there, and now I got the back part chalked. The driver's side rear tire there, and then that's where I'm going to jack it up from on the frame, and I'm going to put the tire underneath the frame and also some jack stands just in case it collapses. So before we jack it up, we need to break loose the lug nuts so that the wheel's not trying to spin while we're breaking them loose. All right, let's jack it up. Tires off the ground. Got the jack and a couple jack stands there just in case. Let's take it. Now ready for the brake pads. So these are the brake pads that I'm going to be installing. It comes with the hardware as far as the wear sensor and the little guides that brake pads actually look like they have quite a bit of life in them, so I'm not really sure what's causing the screeching sound. All right, so first off, let's remove this brake pad sensor, and it just clips in right here. I'm going to pull it out. Maybe. There we go, just had to wiggle it more. And then this rubber cap just comes off, and then it will, it's just a rubber cap, there it goes. And then you can take this off of there, then we got to unlatch it from the sensor plug. Alright, so right there's the sensor plug, this white tab here. You got to pull it up and out. So just try to get your finger under it if you can. It's not the easiest to get to. See it? It's there we go. Now it's up. Heard it snap. All right, now let's try wedging a screwdriver up inside there to unlatch the sensor from the plug. So I should be able to get it between the sensor and the plug latch, and then unlatch that, pull them out together. There it goes. All right, got two 14mm bolt heads there that I'm going to take loose. Now before I go pulling this out, I'm going to remove the plug for the electronic parking brake. There's this tab up here, you just slide up. Come on, why do these tabs not work? There we go. Gotta get that slid back. There, it finally unlatched. So now I can get under that, lift it up. So you can see I'm lifting that tab up under there and slide that off. Alright, now I can remove these bolts and slide this whole assembly back and off. There we go. And you don't want to leave it hanging from the brake hose, brake line. So now that's off of there and out of the way. We can get to these pins and the brake pads. So the brake pads look like they got quite a bit of life. I don't know what's going on there. So these brake pads are different from one side to the other. As you can see, that has that gap there for the brake pad wear sensor. Let's go ahead and pull these out. Then you got these tabs. What I'm going to do is just put the tab in as I take it out. That way I know I get the correct ones in there, because I think they are slightly different from one side to the other. Alright, take this tab out. Then I'm just going to make sure it matches the same as the one that I'm going to put in. So they have the tabs, little spring thing here, facing different directions, so you got to make sure you get the correct one. So that'd be this one. Alright. Okay. There we go, that's in there. Looks good. Take this tab out. Make sure we get the right one that matches this. That one matches. Alright, that's on there. So just what I found works best to get these tabs in there, or these guides, is, well, you could probably clean it out, but it's not that bad. So go ahead and get it onto this.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, get it onto this end here, all the way. So get it on like that, and then back here, there's this tab, and this notched out area, as you can see right there. Get a pair of needle nose down in there, and just push down. That gets it down all the way, and leaves it clipped on up here for me. So you also need to make sure you get the brake pads direction correct. So you got the curve side, and then the ones that came out had the squealer tab on the bottom. Got some brake grease here. I'm just going to take some of this and lube up the pad in there. And the pad up here. Just all those. Just try not to get it on the brake. Try not to get your brake lube here on the rotor, because you don't want any grease on that. It kind of clamps into the. It might be a little tight to get in. It kind of clamps in there. There we go. There we go. All right, that's in there. And then those little tabs there should push it out, so that when you release your brakes, it releases the pad from the rotor. Okay. There we go. Alright, now I gotta get these pins out. Hold on to the boot there if you can, and try to peel it back so it doesn't rip the boot. Then you can peel this out, and then we'll relube this. So clean it off real good. And we'll dab some grease around it. And you just don't want to get a whole bunch of grease on the end of it, because you don't want it to pack that grease down in the bottom of the pin. But just a nice thin layer all around. Should be good. And then get the boot back on. Good. Now do the same with the other one. Peel the boot back. Take out the pin. Wipe it off real good. Reapply your lubricant. That's good. Put that back in. Put the boot back on. There we go. Now let's see if the caliper will go back on over it. And it won't. So we're going to have to retract that caliper. So I think I found what the problem is. The caliper there is not straight up and down. As you can see, it's kind of cocked to the side. And then the brake pad in the back, it would have been pushing only up against that little tab there instead of on the whole thing. And you can see that the brake pad is cracked right there. So it was pushing just right dead center in the crack and making it to where the put all the pressure in the middle of the brake pad. So I bet that this thing is warped and bent and cracked, and that was probably just constantly rubbing against my rotor. So the only way I can think to get this straight is to actually take off that parking brake, the electronic parking brake, and you just need a 5mm Allen wrench for these. And I should be able to pull this off. Oh yeah, there it goes. Just make sure you got your seals still and you don't lose those. So all the way down inside there is another Allen head. I don't know if you can see it. It's a number 5 also. I want to get it turned. I got my 5mm in that gear end, and it doesn't go on the gear. It goes in a 5mm socket inside the gear. So I can turn it. There we go. And right there, straight up and down. Caliper tool here. Put that in towards the piston. Screw this in. Alright. Got it in there. I should be able to compress it. I can feel it going in just by hand. Don't even need to apply a whole lot of pressure to it. So that's fully contracted now. Now you should expect this to be a tight fit because these are brand new brake pads. So I'm going to put it up against the pins. I gotta go from the top first, push that pin in, there we go. Then it allows us to get this around there. So if you notice there is like notches in that, you have to make sure that those notches go straight up and down because there's pins on this. See, there's a pin at the bottom of this brake pad that the bottom notch will go into. So there we go. And everything's back on. So let's put the bolts in. So it's better to use an extended socket on these so that you can actually get past all this when you're wrenching. And it's a 14mm. There we go. Plug it back in up here. Once it clips. So now it's clipped, push that red thing back forward. Alright, got the new wear pad sensor. Just make sure when you plug it in that the little tab that's sticking out is facing the bottom. So that's where, so it'll latch. And then give it a tug test, make sure it's in there. And it is. And then that white tab underneath, just push it back in all the way. So then I'm just going to make sure I got that white tab in all the way, even though it doesn't really need to be there. I think I broke it anyway. Yeah, whatever. And then this part just went right there, I think. Yeah, like that. Put your little boot over the top. And put your little boot on. Such an odd thing. Come on, go on. That works. And now you can clip this into place on the brake pad itself. So there you can kind of see what we got going on there. There we go. And that's all done. So we're done with this side. Now we put the tire back on. How's it look now?
Not bad.
Oh, okay. Don't forget to remove your wheel chock. Don't forget to put your brake fluid cap back on. Make sure you didn't leave anything under the car. Now it's time to take it out of brake service mode. So push on the brake, start it. You'll still have that blinking yellow P or orange P, whatever, right there. And then push and hold this down, the parking brake button, till it goes away. Okay, the park just showed up, so I just released the parking brake button. Now I think it'll go away. Yep, and I left my brake applied the whole time. Now I'm gonna let go of it, and let's drive. So it wouldn't hurt to just check and see if there's any leaks. I don't see any brake fluid leaking from anything, just the exhaust. When you're in the information tab for the vehicle here, you can scroll down until it gets to the brake pad life. And there, I replaced the rear and front. The rear stayed at 65% and the front went blank. So that's a little odd. I don't know why I did that. But when you click on the brake pad life here, you can click on when it's installed, but it's disabled. It doesn't let you do it because, yeah, I guess they want you to be able to do that with a scanner tool. Anyway, if you don't have a scanner tool that does it, you can go to disable and they'll just disable it monitoring the brake pad life. So let's see what happens when we go to disable. Disabled, okay. So now when you go down to it, it just shows disabled. It would be nice if they let you reset it yourself, but for some stupid reason, the engineers decided they wanted to hold on to that power. Or you can take it somewhere to have them reset the brake pad life. So now I want to test the parking brake just to make sure it works still. Oh. Brake set, park brake set. Now let's release it. Oh yeah, perfect. No engine codes or service codes. Everything turned out perfect. Just make sure you do that brake service that I showed you at the beginning in order to get it all ready for replacing the rear brake pads. And now take yourself to the beach because you've earned it. And on the way there, go ahead and listen for any squeaking. Make sure that your brakes actually stop the car, and feel for any pulling one way or the other. And that'll let